Right, let's look at Amazon. First, when we start analyzing, we want to start at the monthly time frame and work our way down from there. If you look at the structure, we can see this is our higher high, a higher low, and the higher high, and also your all-time high. From there, we got a correction to take out liquidity from the lows, tap it to a demand zone for support, and from there, start your move up again to create a new higher high slash all-time high. So expected order flow on the monthly is up and up until proven otherwise when we take out our last all-time high. The weekly pretty much stays the same, but right here is what caused us this break of structure, caused us to trade towards these lows, take out liquidity, bounce from this nice demand zone that was left open, and you can see we got a nice reaction up from there. We had nice 3-day structure that brought us towards new lows. So on your 3-day, you got bullish when you gained this, and you can expect higher highs and higher lows. That is also what has been happening since we had this bullish change of character. So now we know monthly is up, weekly you can still come down because your break of structure was here and you don't have any structure in between. If you look at just how the candles moved, you could also say on the weekly, this is a valid structure pull and you gained it towards the upside. So overall, you're really bullish on Amazon. On the daily, we can see after we gained that high, we put in a higher low, a higher high, a higher low, and then a pretty aggressive pump up close towards our all-time high. But from there, we got a rejection. There's also supply at this point right here, which you can reject from to collect more liquidity from the lows to continue your up move. So we got into a zone of supply, zone of resistance, and got a pretty heavy reaction from that towards the downside. Why? There's a lot of liquidity being built up here. As you can see, a lot of people that started buying in this up move put their stop losses below these lows. So that is a nice place for the market to trade towards if they need to fill up their positions again to continue the move towards all-time highs. Where did we stop? We have a big block right here that you can draw in as a demand to look for support. And from there, we started moving up again, creating a higher low and a new higher high. So what do you want to look for on Amazon? To continue trading towards the all-time high, we can look for a higher low and a new higher high. Knowing that, what are interesting zones to look at? For that, we're gonna have to zoom in. As you can see, there's a lot of trend liquidity being built up once again, just like we did over here. Below that, a demand zone, just like we did over here, a demand zone below our trend liquidity. As you can see, Amazon likes to take out the trend liquidity, tap it to a demand zone, and from there move up again. But right now, there's one more interesting thing that I want to point out. We have formed a range, and if you are familiar with range trading and how deviations of a range work, you can see we have a range high, a range low, and we have our deviation 1. This can mean that market makers are starting to fill up short positions right here to trade towards the downside and take out lows. What could be the objective for the short? As I said, to take out all this trend liquidity being built up, to fill up their long positions and reverse back up again. But as a confirmation on a short like that, you need a bit more than just one deviation on your range high. You will need a change of character towards the downside, indicating we are getting more bearish than bullish. And you need a third tap, either in extreme supply or at the range high once again, or at your extreme liquidity of your range. So let's look if we have some sort of supply or a extreme liquidity point we could target. A supply right here. What can this mean? This could be our third tap. Then we are missing one more thing. A change of character towards the downside. On the daily, you could say it's over here. On the 3-day I mean. And on the daily, it isn't the cleanest candles, big gaps in between. But this is your structure pull. So on the daily, this would be your low to break. But we don't have to wait for the daily. We can also zoom in and look if internally we can switch bearish as well. Because if you look over here, we have a really clean high low just before taking this high that took you over this high. And when you break below this low, it can indicate that locally we're getting bearish and we can expect lower highs and lower lows towards the downside. So we have the change of character, we have a deviation of the range high, and we have a tap into our extreme supply. Let's see if locally we also got some more confirmations that we can trade lower. Once again, I would be looking for a change of character. In this case, the 1 hour is fine. If you look, we have a structure pull right here. Internally brought you towards a new high. If you're gonna close below this, you expect a lower high and a new lower low. Right now we close below this low. It isn't the cleanest close because we closed below it and after that we started coming up. But if the market is ready and wants to treat this as a bearish change of character, we are gonna see that this high is gonna get respected. And we put in a lower high for a new lower low. Where could this lower high being put in? We have all these old lows collected right here in combination with this structure pull we are rejecting from right now, as you can see. So this could be enough, and otherwise we have a bit of structure right here that we could also use to trade towards the downside, and maybe look for some 1 minute, 5 minute confluences in here. So it looks like that Amazon is distributing right now and that we can trade towards all the liquidity being built up here. For me, there's not enough confluences to preset this zone right here. It isn't the cleanest supply like we had over here. And this isn't the cleanest change of character towards the downside. So I would watch this zone locally on a lower time frame to get local confirmations that we can trade towards these lows. And otherwise, Amazon can still come up from here, deviate the high once more, and then trade towards the downside. So higher time frame, we are still bullish on Amazon, but lower time frame is getting more bearish than bullish, and it looks like we are distributing and trying to fill up new orders on these lows that we have been building up right here.